the areas where
All right, there you have it, the big moment that all of us have been waiting for. The stage is now set for that very, very special award ceremony at Rashtrapati Bhavan, being held on the occasion of NDTV's 25th anniversary. President Pranab Mukherjee is going to present those awards to 25 greatest living legends of India that are being honored today. Just who those 25 people are, you're going to find out in a moment from now. There you have it on your TV screens, pictures coming straight to us from Rashtrapati Bhavan, that beautiful dome of Rashtrapati Bhavan, all illuminated. And the stage is set, as we said, for that special award ceremony to get underway, where 25 greatest living legends of India are going to be honored. All of them coming together on a single stage and will in fact receive those awards from none other than President Pranab Mukherjee at Rashtrapati Bhavan a short while from now. As we've been saying, this is a very, very proud moment for all of us here at NDTV as we celebrate 25 years of NDTV. And to mark the occasion, we have in fact brought together 25 men and women who have done India very, very proud with their amazing achievements and accomplishments that have been recognized globally. That award ceremony is going to get underway a short while from now. All right, well, so the excitement is building up, certainly here at our end. A big, big day for all of us at NDTV as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of NDTV. And to mark the occasion, as I've been saying, we have this very, very special award ceremony that's coming up a short while from now. And we are in fact bringing those live pictures from Rashtrapati Bhavan. That's where that award ceremony is going to be held. A ceremony to award and recognize 25 greatest living legends of India.
India, thank you all for being here for this very special ceremony.
They say the zero is nothing unless it connects the dots and the real story emerges. Unless it captures the truth. They say the camera never lies. They say the zero is nothing unless it is the essence of India, of diversity and tolerance. Unless it reveals the wealth of nations and silences the barrel of a gun. Unless it reflects the sadness in the eye of the tiger as forests disappear. In fact, the dot is the center of your universe and of ours. The dot is the essence of NDTV, the essence of just one word: trust.
President, sir, all our friends here. A couple of days ago, I asked Radhika, the founder of NDTV, I joined her after she started it, what's kept NDTV going for 25 years? Is it hard work? She looked at me a little skeptical. Technology, passion, money, what is it? She just said one word: trust. Your trust. And I'm here tonight on behalf of everybody at NDTV to thank every single one of you for your trust in us. But first, a quick secret. When I was first asked to speak, I said no, not really. But guess what? I'm here. How come? Because frankly, there's one factor that's common to all journalists. We may not be the most important people in the world, but we are certainly the most self-important. So trust. When each one of us at NDTV is out in the field with dust on our face and dirt under our nails, we do it because in the end, honestly, we feel that whatever we report has your trust. When we started World This Week 25 years ago, the only program that reported on international news, the breakup of the Soviet Union of that time, the coming down of the Berlin Wall, or even the first McDonald's in China, we were novices, but you trusted us. When we report on elections, on who's winning and who's losing and why, we just couldn't do it without feeling your faith and your trust in us. In fact, if there's one thing that I feel proud about in the media, it's the role in elections and in our democracy. by bridging this gap between Parliament and the voter, and perhaps even changing the power equation substantially. For 25 years, between 77 and 2002, we had angry voters. 70% of governments were thrown out. Good or bad, they were thrown out. The anti-incumbency phase, that phrase we know so well. But it's all changed now. Over the past 10 years, in this period of media explosion, it's 50% are thrown out and 50% of governments are brought back by a more informed voter. If governments deliver, they are voted back. If they don't, they're thrown out. So trust. When we first started the first private news on Indian television, we were a bundle of nerves, believe me. A bit like me tonight, actually. You gave us strength at that time. At most difficult times in the course of NDTV's history, when we lost our dearest colleagues who started with us at NDTV, and we wondered, why continue? You kept us going. When we produced India's first 24-hour news channel, that's 15 years ago, you trusted us then too. And we value that trust still today so much. 15 years ago, there was just one 24-hour news channel. Today, there are 182 at last count. That was yesterday. I don't know today. Get ready for 500 in the next 5 years. Compared to 15 years ago, technology has made sure that starting a news channel is 95% cheaper today than it was. And as an aside, let me say, many of you were with us in election programs in those days. With this changing media, how politicians have changed. When we used to ask a politician in those days a question, they would take 3 minutes to answer, to get to the point. First, they'd clear their throats, then look at themselves in the studio camera. That was a big problem. Then start with a historical perspective. And finally, 3 minutes later, come to the point. Now, they are sharp as anything. They make 3 points in 20 seconds. You can't even edit them anymore. That's how much. And also, they are becoming much better looking. It's one of the advantages, because having been on TV so much, politicians today looking better groomed. So that's a good fringe benefit of openness. And now in the current fight against tabloidization, where we show, unlike others, documentaries and rural stories that India matters, you still stay with us. That means a lot. Tabloidization is a worry, but I feel there is a backlash now. We hope and pray that sponsors and advertisers will give greater weightage to content and avoid promoting tabloidization. If you look at the West, tabloidization gets much, much less support from advertisers and sponsors. In fact, I hate to report that tabloidization, in my eyes, hit an all-time low recently when an anchor of one channel said, twirling her hair, a lady, break ke baad aapko ek rape dikhayenge. I really think enough is enough, surely. So trust, when we fight campaigns for Jessica Lal, the Greenathon, Save the Tiger, toilets for girls in schools, marks for sports, and the girl child, and many, many others, you have trusted us with crores in donations, and they've all been put to good use. Finally, looking ahead at the next 5 years, we believe that soft power will become as important as hardware in global conflict. A friend sitting here said to me, the US has CNN, England has BBC, the Middle East has Al Jazeera, China has CCTV with great distribution. Where is India? NDTV believes India is strongest in the world in creativity and in soft power. The time has come to launch India's version of CNN or Al Jazeera. We can be better than the rest, better than the world. And NDTV has a truly global channel in our sights. We need your faith, your support, and trust in this venture too. So, in a word, what brings a lump to our throats is simply your trust. And to cap all our emotions today, the 25 greatest Indian living legends have all come here tonight. And just by accepting our invitation, they've given us that one most valuable thing, their trust. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome India's 25 greatest global living legends.
For placing development at the heart of democracy, society, and policy. An intellectual giant, a living legend, Amartya Sen.
Dear Professor Sen, you have applied a consistent approach in your studies of social choice and poverty, making contributions to welfare economics. I now ask you to receive the prize from His Majesty the King.
Every famine is a very class-based famine. It was surprising. I've never seen so many people dying. When I was attracted by the maths and physics thing, that economics would be a good thing to do because I wanted to understand why these things happen.
But it's very difficult to say anything on an occasion like this, other than thank you very much. I'm extremely honored, deeply grateful, and quite overwhelmed. I'm told that we have to say a few things, presumably wise things, in a couple of minutes. And, I think the first thing to say is that if you get an honor and recognition that you think you do not deserve, it's still very pleasant. Secondly, if that honor comes from someone whom you greatly admire, in this case the Honorable President of India, President Pranab Mukherjee, the President of a country of which we are all proud, then it's even more pleasant. And the third thing is to say that it's much nicer to hear wise things being said by others than to try to say it oneself. So I'd make way now for others to say wise things. Thank you.
Nearly 5 decades, still very much India's leading man. Then, now, and always a living legend, Amitabh Bachchan.
Failure is a part of every human being's life. It is bound to come some point of time. Even if you're riding a huge wave of success, you should be wary that tomorrow everything can go wrong. So every day you keep digging at something. And even if it's a centimeter that you move forward, at least you move forward. The inspiration has always been the people of this country. They have given me just endless amount of love and affection.
Honorable President of India, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this recognition given by NDTV and putting me in the list of some of the most illustrious gentlemen and ladies on this platform. I feel very humbled, very privileged to be here today, and I've been asked to express 3 viewpoints on what I can perhaps advise the next generation or the coming generations. The first one was given to me by my father at a very precarious moment in my early years when I was under some kind of stress. He gave me these wonderful words, ki man ka ho to acha, na ho to zyada acha. And I could never understand why man ka na ho to zyada acha kaise ho sakta hai. And then he said, then it's happening according to the will of the Almighty, and He will always want the best for you. So therefore, na ho to zyada acha. The other aspect of what I have experienced is that never allow criticism to get you down. In our profession, this happens quite often. And we've always been advised that if you are criticized, then it's best to acknowledge it, accept it, and work so that you can destroy it later on. Many a times there have been occasions when there have been some nastiness expressed by certain sections of society, and I'm not using the other word because we are at their function here today. And I've actually made cuttings of that and put it in front of my table and said, one day I'm going to disprove you, and fortunately that has happened. So never ever put any kind of negativity and be suppressed or oppressed by it, because that is your provocation, your incentive to fight to disprove them. The third was also something that my father taught me, never a borrower or a lender be. I've added something to that. Don't ever be a borrower, and when you lend, make sure you're never going to get it back. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the greatest artists in the world today. He reshapes and resizes us, the mark of a living legend, Sir Anish Kapoor.
It's the concentration of a certain kind of energy that makes it extraordinary. I felt as if, there's something I really, truly, deeply wanted to do. I felt as if maybe for the first time in my life I could concentrate. Artists really don't have anything to say. Politicians have things to say, and perhaps novelists have things to say. Mostly it's being there and doing it. It's a kind of practice. Hello, what an honor and pleasure to be here this evening. What is one to say in such a situation with in such elevated company? I have written on the wall of my studio a phrase which goes something like this. It is not what a thing means, but what a thing is. Now, I think I've spent the last 30 years or so of my life trying to get to this is thing, what a thing is. So when I work with a piece of stone or work with a piece of steel, I'm looking for what it is, not what I have to say. And that's a curious process of to and fro, a process of respect for it and for me, and a kind of a process that perhaps leads to leads to questions rather than answers. So, of course, being an artist provides nothing. And we are, and will eternally be, on the edge, perhaps even a little irrelevant. And I think that irrelevance is key. Never let us be central, please. So, on that note, thank you.
His music is India's soundtrack. Always composed, our next living legend, A.R. Rahman.
Never plan anything.
Yeah,
and then be open to good things. And when you're open to good things, it fall into place. I personally discovered love and music which cleanses your mind and heals you, and these are my explanations and reasons to follow music. I'm deeply humbled with this esteemed elite group here. Never knew that I'll be here. All I can say is I want to thank my state, Tamil Nadu, who's encouraged me so much. My mother and my spiritual teachers, my music teachers, my school teachers, and I know that I have to go a long way if I live long to do many things and many dreams, like music education and changing many things if God allows me to do it. And thank you so much. Being a part of being an Indian itself is a great blessing, I say. God bless. Yeah.
The secrets of science dissolve for him from his lab and experiments this common reaction. A living legend, Bharat Ratna C.N.R. Rao.
I have been doing research for more than 60 years, of which nearly 54 years I've been a professor, working with young, bright students and always trying to discover something new. It is a wonderful journey for me. And I wouldn't know what else to do if I didn't have science, because this life has been very, very closely associated with science itself. Mr. President, it is great to receive this recognition from your hands. And it is very imaginative of NDTV to think of this way of celebrating their 25th year. There are many other ways one can think of celebrating the 25th year, and this is indeed unique. I must congratulate Pranay Roy and all his colleagues for this very imaginative program. I am a working scientist, writing papers all the time, writing books. I still have a large body of young people working with me. I'm still competing as well as I can with all the youngsters in India and all people in the world who do science. That is my main profession. I've been a professor for 54 years, actually doing research for 62 years. I'm now 80 years old. So this has been a wonderful life, and whatever recognition I get is, I think, a recognition for science, particularly science in India, for all the young people who have worked with me. And this also augurs well that in the future of India somehow is tied with science. I'm very grateful for this honor to NDTV, who has recognized a scientist with a galaxy of others who probably deserve it much more than I do. Thank you so much.
For empowering women in villages with jobs, visibility, and dignity. In every right, a living legend, Ila Bhatt.
सेवा में आके बहुत हमारा फर्क आया, हमें पक्का मकान होया, टेलीविजन आया, लाइट आई.
Who are the women of India? 80% of women in India are rural, poor, illiterate, and economically very active. So it is these women who should be playing a leading role in the women's movement of India.
I feel so humbled and proud today, and I'm fortunate also to be asked to say 3 messages for the next generation, right? So, first and foremost, we need to recognize that poverty is violence. It is violence perpetuated with the consent of society. A society that is silent or looks the other way in the face of poverty. It is giving consent to exploitation, injustice, and war. Poverty strips away a person's dignity, humanity. It corrodes the human spirit. There is no justification for poverty in India. Number 2, diversity. Diversity is the key to life. Our world is richer when cultures and subcultures flourish, when faiths and subfaiths intermingle. We need a multiplicity of economies and sub-economies that coexist in harmony. Monoculture or standardization of practices are nothing but ways to managing nature, managing people. They are not life-giving forces. India's rich diversity needs the spirit of Bahuda to sustain it. And lastly, let us recognize that we all live in correlation. The word is anubandh. We are all bound to each other in the web of life. Every action of mine has an impact on me, on the community around me, and the world. Mother Earth. By being mindful of our interdependence, we bind ourselves to each other and to the world. My vision is of a world without poverty, full of diversity, and interlinked in mutual harmony. This vision is a gift to me by poor and working women, my Seva sisters, and over past 40 years. Now I try to give it to you. Thank you.
A tireless protector of our rights and our liberties, inarguably a living legend, Fali Nariman.
Law is a very disciplined subject. It's a very trying profession, I must tell you. Nobody who's chicken-hearted can survive in this profession. You have to be lion-hearted, you have to be generous. Looking back, I don't regret it one bit. Palkiwala, our professor, used to tell us, God pays, but not every week. In front of my president, I must be frank. And as a lawyer, I'm expected not to mislead the court of public opinion. Because frankly, I don't feel like one of the 25 global living legends. And I'm afraid someone here or outside is going to name 25 others, and he may well be right. Let me say only this, that if I have achieved anything in life, the lady behind me, not this one, the lady in front of me, but in front of me, to whom I have been married 59 years, is responsible. Thank you very much.
He turns an ordinary moment into the sublime, the sweeping scales of a living legend, Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasya.
I am still struggling to play flute nicely, maybe not like Lord Krishna, but maybe simple musicians.
नमस्कार आदरणीय प्रेसिडेंट, हमारे जितने बड़े बड़े महापुरुष लोग यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, सभी को मेरा प्रणाम। और मैं बोलता नहीं, कभी हमेशा बांसुरी के द्वारा बोलता हूँ, लेकिन कुछ थोड़ी सी अब हमारी जो जीवन की थोड़ी सी घटनाएं हुई हैं, 1 मिनट में ख़त्म करूँगा। पहले तो जब मेरी माँ छोड़ के चली गई, 5.5 साल का था, तब से स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूँ, और स्ट्रगल का मतलब जीवन है। मैं बहुत ही इंजॉय करता हूँ स्ट्रगलिंग, अभी भी कर रहा हूँ, अभी भी विद्यार्थी हूँ। आने वाली पीढ़ियों को ये कहना चाहूँगा कि हमेशा माता पिता अपने गुरु के प्रति भक्ति रखेंगे और स्ट्रगल करेंगे तो भगवान आपका साथ देगा, भगवान हमेशा साथ रहेगा, और हमेशा विद्यार्थी बन के रहेंगे तो बहुत कुछ सीखेंगे। और जाने के समय में क्या लेके जाएंगे, क्या लेके जा सकते हैं, सिवाय संगीत की शिक्षा के और कुछ नहीं ले जाएंगे। बस इतना ही कहना चाहते हैं।
Known for the outstanding company she keeps, the brilliant management of a truly global living legend, Indra Nui.
I was born in a great democracy. I live in another great democracy. Indians are capable of an enormous amount, and I think accelerating investments in infrastructure would be my #1 priority. Any CEO has to be big enough, brave enough, bold enough to face the critics, and personally, I'm ready for all of these fights.
Mr. President and NDTV, thank you very much for this incredible honor. You know, Malcolm Gladwell in his book, The Outliers, said, "Who you are cannot be separated from where you came from." I left India 35 years ago, went on to the United States, and had tremendous success in that meritocracy. But none of that could have happened if I hadn't had a wonderful upbringing very much here in India. So I have a lot to thank India for. Now, my 3 lessons I'd like to share with you. First, please be a lifelong student. You know, when we are kids, we ask questions like, why is the sky blue? Why is the bird flying so high? But for some reason, as we get older, that curiosity goes away. And if we are happy with the knowledge we have, then we are actually going to atrophy. So please remain a lifelong student. Don't lose that curiosity. Second, whatever you do, throw yourself into it. Throw your head, heart, and hands into it. I look at my job not as a job. I look at it as a calling, as a passion. And I don't care about the hours. I don't care about the hardship, because to me, everything is a joy. So whatever you do, please look upon it as a calling and a passion, not as a job, not as something temporary. The third and the most important one, please help others rise. Greatness comes not from a position, but from helping build the future. All of us in positions of power have an obligation to pull others up. You know, as I stand here today, I look at my responsibility not as accepting an honor. I look upon it as accepting a challenge and a responsibility, an obligation to actually make it possible for the people who are younger to come up and achieve levels of greatness so they too can be on the stage sometime in the future. So thank you again, NDTV, for this incredible honor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The hurricane from Haryana who home delivered the World Cup. Every bit an all-rounder, a living legend, Kapil Dev.
मैंने क्रिकेट को एंजॉय किया, मुझे खेल पसंद था और बहुत मजे से खेला। मैं ये कह सकता हूँ कि हाँ, वो बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट डे था हमारे लिए, तमाम टीम के लिए, हर एक हिंदुस्तानी के लिए। इवन दो हमारे यहाँ पर इतनी भाषाएं, इतनी रिलीजन, जब क्रिकेट होता है तो सब एक सोच हो जाती है। ये बहुत खूबसूरत चीज़ है।
Namaskar, Honorable President, all the distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen. It's very hard for a sportsman to talk too much. So they said 3 things, I don't have one also. But I like to say to all the youngsters in this country who want to do something, have a dream, and try to fulfill your dream. I had a dream and I enjoyed my life.
If you don't have a dream, you will never reach anywhere. Don't lie to yourself, and proud to be Indian. Thank you.
He plays with the tricolour wrapped around him, game, set, match, and this title, Living Legend, to Leander Pace.
All I got to do, go out there is give my best effort, and if a miracle happens, it'll be good. I find that the heart and the mind are in the right place. The passion still burns, the mind still as tough as nails. And I always wanted to be an Olympic medal winner. I was born to be playing for India. Honorable President of India, Doctor, and friends. I'd like to thank our President, and I'd like to thank Doctor and everyone at NDTV for this amazing experience that we're going through today. I've never been at a venue with so many amazing Indians from diverse walks of life who I've looked up to, and I'm very, very proud to share a stage with every one of them. My father told me when I was young, when I was 12 years old on the 12th of May 1986, when I left home to pursue my tennis, he said, "Son, go out into the world and stand on your feet and be a man. Live your dream and do it from your heart." Dad, today I'd like to thank you for being my mentor, my father, my guide, and the greatest source of inspiration I've ever had. And I'd just like to say to all the youngsters all out there in the world, it's amazing what can be achieved with a little bit of belief in yourself and a lot of hard work. Thank you so much. I'm very, very proud to be an Indian today. Thank you.
His green revolution fed a hungry India and came to the rescue of millions of farmers. A miracle grower, a living legend, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan.
The reform must be such that we can improve the well-being of farmers and the productivity of land in such a way that we can produce more and more. Today, agriculture in the context of is the backbone of our livelihood security, of jobs and income for 70% of our population. Respected Rashtrapati Ji and ladies and gentlemen, I think the 25th anniversary of NDTV occurs in a year when our country has witnessed a historic transition from what was called ship to mouth to right to food with homegrown food. Since I have been working in this field from 1947 onwards, I thought I will just take a minute to narrate the significance of this change. On August 15, 1947, the first page of our newspapers had the famous speech of Nehru, "Our tryst with destiny." The second page, almost of all newspapers, warned about the impending food crisis and the food shortage in the country. From that time onwards, to have come to the stage of food security, legal right to food, did not happen as a miracle. In fact, I recall in the 60s, many books were published by doomsday expert Paul and Ian Ehrlich, a very famous population expert. They said Indians have no future unless a thermonuclear bomb kills them. And another group of experts said Indians will die like sheep going to slaughterhouse, Paul and William Paddock. We decided that this will not happen. And that is how the scientific transformation with the appropriate political support has brought us to this condition where we are able to assure over 80% of our population legal right to food. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's important to know this particular transition is probably the most significant in my view, not because I'm an agricultural scientist, because we know today many of the food security and national sovereignty are so much interrelated. We could not have helped Bangladesh if we didn't have food. We could not have helped Vietnam if we had no food. We could not have done Pokhran either during Mr. Indira Gandhi's time or Vajpayee's time if we were not self-sufficient in food, because you can withstand all other sanctions, but not sanction which denies you the food. Therefore, it's a historic transition. I congratulate Pranay Roy having his 25th anniversary in the same year. But let me conclude by saying most of the reports now say the younger generation do not want to take agriculture because it's a very risky profession and low income and so on. But I think the future belongs to nations with grains and not guns. Guns you can purchase, but grains you cannot purchase. Thank you very much.
He's the pivotal force behind a global business giant, often called a visionary, now a living legend. Mukesh Ambani.
Reliance Industries is a business with a purpose, and our purpose is really to transform lives of millions of Indians. For me, richest is not at all important, because what you need for your needs is all that you need. What is important is real achievement. What is important is how can you create institutions that last beyond you. Most respected Rashtrapati Ji, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank NDTV, Pranay Roy and his team for this recognition, and to receive it from the President is a very, very special moment for me. So thank you, Pranay. I want to dedicate this recognition to my father, Shri Dhirubhai Ambani, and to the people of Reliance. Dhirubhai, because he started Reliance with 1,000 rupees and proved that an ordinary Indian can create a world-class enterprise in his lifetime. To the people of Reliance, 100,000 and counting today, who've always been at an average age of 30 for the last 3 decades, to have again proved to India that the youth of India can compete and win in global markets. 75% of Reliance's revenue is exports today. Pranay had asked me to share 3 of my life learnings with the next generation. My first learning to the youth is dream big, align your passion and purpose in life with a goal. If you focus on the goal, you will overcome all obstacles. If you focus on obstacles, you will never reach your goal. My second learning, there is no substitute to hard work. Even more important is to pursue excellence. Aim at being the best, not just the best in India, but the best in the world. Pursue excellence and success will chase you. My third learning is it is very important to be positive and optimistic in life. Dismiss the prophets of doom. Have self-confidence. Believe in yourself, and above all, believe in India, because this country gives every Indian the opportunity to realize his dreams. And I think the best of India is yet to come. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
India's chief mentor, executive, philanthropist, living legend, N.R. Narayan Murthy.
Unless the market is ready for your idea, you will not succeed. We have raised the confidence of entrepreneurs in the country. Our example, these entrepreneurs would say, if these 7 jokers could do it, we can do it better. I think that is the biggest contribution of emphasis to the country, because entrepreneurship is all about creation of jobs.
Honorable President of India, ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely grateful to NDTV for this kindness, this generosity, and this affection. I have been asked to speak on the 3 most important lessons I have learned, and they are: 1, I have learned that courage is the most important attribute of a great leader. Courage to dream big, courage of conviction, courage to take bold decisions, courage to go against conventional wisdom, and courage to travel the road less traveled. I have learned that the only time invariant and context invariant attributes of a successful organization are: 1, an environment of fairness and justice, openness to new ideas, meritocracy, speed, imagination, and excellence in execution. Finally, I have learned that the leaders will have to be trustworthy first before being high performers. Such trustworthiness comes if we act according to the adages: let the good news take the stairs and let the bad news take the elevator. And second, when in doubt, disclose. Thank you very much.
Full throttle star power meets immaculate humility. He is truly a blockbuster living legend, the one and only Rajnikant.
They will ask him, what is your desire? To become a star. To become a star, and that too as a villain.
I believe in destiny. Day for yesterday, I don't know today I'll be here. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. But anything, I believe in God. Whatever God orders me to do, I will do. Honorable President, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Many people don't believe in miracles. Miracles do happen. See, an ordinary bus conductor sharing a dais with the greatest living legends is a miracle. Miracles do happen. My heartfelt thanks to Honorable President, NDTV, to giving me this prestigious award. I dedicate this award to my brother, R. Satyanarayana Gaikwad, who is his father and mother, like father and mother for me, and my Guru Balchandar, and Tamil people. Without their support or their love and affection, I wouldn't have been here. Thank you very much.
India's flagship group is built on his code of ethics. From the Nano to the Jaguar, the drive of a living legend, Ratan Tata.
and my family never had money abroad to supplement, so I used to do other jobs to get the money to live. Never once have we done something to exploit a policy issue. Our effort has been to be good corporate citizens. I don't cherish being recognized. I used to enjoy the days when I was just another person. Mr. President, Pranay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply grateful this evening at having this recognition bestowed on me, and particularly happy to receive it from the hands of the President. As I look back over my years, I've been fortunate to see the country transition from a controlled country to an open economy. I've seen it grow, and I feel extremely proud and happy to have been a part of this great transformation. My dream for the future of India is to see India grow, continue to grow, and become an economic power, to be a country of equal opportunity for all Indians in a united form where all laws apply to all Indians as one. I believe this country is a nation that we should all be proud of, and I hope that we can all play our parts as we are, to make it the great power it needs to be. Thank you again for this recognition. Thank you.
He's called the god of cricket. He is a living legend, Sachin Tendulkar.
Sachin, you must be getting tired now of people asking you questions and giving interviews or what?
Oh, I think this is just start.
He's the youngest player at 25 years to score a century in Test cricket. The boy wonder of Indian cricket.
We were playing a one-day match against Australia, and I got out at mid-off. For that night, I couldn't sleep properly.
Another planet to reach 200, and it's the Superman from India.
Thank you very much for all the support and love over the years. Honorable President Shri Pranab Mukherjee, respected dignitaries, I'm extremely honored to be here to receive this award. I'd like to congratulate Dr. Roy and your team, NDTV team, for having completed 25 years. Wonderful job you're doing. I was asked to give a message to the youth of India, and I couldn't think of anything other than the advice that I got from my grandmother. She said, health is wealth, take care of your health. When today I look at the current generation, they are so into video games either on their laptops, computers, and mobile phones, which unfortunately only exercises your thumbs. I would urge all the youngsters, mainly the youngsters, to engage themselves in outdoor activity, play some sport, find some passion in life where you could be, competing against your friends. It is about fitness and good health, which will allow you to concentrate longer, focus harder in whatever you want to be in life, whatever you want to do in life. For me, when my career started 24 years ago, my sport taught me a lot of things. To play the game in the right spirit, respect the opposition, not to take things for granted, have strategies as the standard of playing got better and better, then to be able to execute your plans. And also at times, I had to face defeat. But the most important thing I learned from my sport was when you are defeated, you stand up to face another challenge. I would encourage the youth of India to dream, because I believe dreams come true if you chase them hard. All the very best.
The gift of sight, uncompromising state-of-the-art attention, the determined vision of a living legend, Dr. S.S. Badrinath.
What I would like to do is to create an institution which would take care of these difficult cases, make rapid diagnosis using molecular biological techniques, providing this particular state-of-the-art surgical procedure at a very nominal cost, and also at the same time act as a training center so that more people from the rest of the country could come here, learn these difficult procedures, duplicate our experience elsewhere in the country.
Respected President Ji, Dr. Pranav Roy, members of the family of NDTV, today we are celebrating the 25th year. So let me begin my talk by wishing many, many happy returns. Among the 25, I am very proud to be one and to be honored before the Rashtrapati Ji. This honor belongs to our institution, and so let me thank you, sir, on behalf of Shankar Netralaya, Chennai. There are many things to be done. I would like to say India really is a poor country, particularly healthcare. People are looking for good healthcare at affordable cost, good quality. India has a great future. The future is in the hands of the youngsters. I would like this honor which has been done to me be an inspiration for all the youngsters in India to do the best what they can for India, though it is poor and wanting in healthcare. One day, I want this country to be the greatest country in the world. Sir, let me also express my sincere thanks to my beloved wife who has stood by me over the years, and to my children, Shishu and Anand, for putting up with all the idiosyncrasies of Dr. Badrinath. So let me thank you, sir, once again, and say that this is a great motivation, and let this motivation reach out to the youngsters of the country and let them realize that they have something very important to do for the country. Let them not look for what is there in it for me, but let them remember the most beautiful words of John F. Kennedy: ask not what you can do what you can for the country. Thank you very much.
The teacher, the master, the living legend, S.H. Raza.
It is not an organization of color and space, but it is much more. If I could pay myself a compliment, it would be this, that I have worked with passion, restlessly, continuously, and constantly unsatisfied with my work. I have the sentiment that I have never left India. India has been with me all the time.
So much so that after 45 years in France, I'm still an Indian citizen.
कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक India's favorite star, an unstoppable living legend, Shah Rukh Khan.
I believe I'm one with God. I'm not saying it because I've become a big star. I became a star because I always believed like that. All I wanted to do, and all I want to do, is to be accepted, loved, and give. What I want to leave at the end of it all is that people should say, you know what, here comes a guy, we knew him, and he really, really tried. Honorable President Saab, distinguished guest, everyone here on the stage, thank you very much. NDTV, thank you Dr. Roy for this honor. This is unbelievable, completely unbelievable. This is the best that could have happened to me. 2 minutes, 3 things to say. So my timer is on. The first of all I'd like to say is you have to be grateful to the Almighty, to your parents, to your teachers. Not only them, because that is something we all follow, but we got to be grateful to everyone who works for us, works with us, makes us who we are, brings us to what we become. Because on your own, I believe you're not unique, you're just alone. So gratitude should be an attitude. That's one part. I read it and came on the net. Sorry, yeah. But it sounds good, right? I will keep this very, very appropriate. Before I walked in, Sonia said, no lungi dance. Second part, don't try to be someone else. You'll always find someone better, taller, cooler, handsomer, nicer, more talented, with better six-packs. But please do not try to be someone else, because I think it takes away the 2 greatest gifts. When you try to keep up with others, it takes away the 2 greatest gifts life has given you. One is the freedom to fail, and the ability to say with your head held high, I don't know. So, like someone again has said, I've taken a lot of quotes this evening to be appropriate. Yeah, be yourself because everybody else is taken. It's very important to do, to be who you are and you know, try and achieve things on your own, go by your heart. And third, it has been taught to me by someone who we all consider a master. I won't say the name on stage straight away, but I'll give you a hint. He's very tall, has got a baritone voice. I asked him once, and this is especially for people who work in the show business or have to make public appearances. This is very important for the next generation to come. Before you enter a public space, make sure, check once, twice, thrice, that your zip is not undone. That's important. And last, don't forget to pray. Thank you very much, everyone. God bless you all. Thank you.
He's endowed science with crucial details of RNA from every sequence, this consequence. Nobel laureate and a living legend, Venki Ramakrishnan.
My feeling is that even if you're not a scientist, you really should have a certain minimum education in science, because we live in a highly technical society. The best way I can help is by being a good role model, by doing good work, by training good students. Thank you. It's a great honor to be here, especially with such distinguished company. Scientists are not known for their public speaking abilities, so I'll do my best. One of the things that I think about when I look back on my career is I chose a path that's not very standard. There were many setbacks. As some of you may have read, I didn't get into any of the IITs. I didn't get into a prestigious medical school. But on the other hand, I did have an interest in physics, and I pursued that. And my parents allowed me to do that. When I went to the US, I didn't exactly go to the best schools in the country. And when I started finishing my PhD in physics, I found I didn't actually have an aptitude for it, and I had to go to graduate school again. And this caused my father some consternation at the time. So it was like taking a step backwards in order to go into a new field. And then when I finished my training, some of you may know that I applied to over 50 positions and didn't get a single interview, and then finally ended up with a job that lasted about 15 months before I could find something I liked. So I suppose one of the lessons is that you should pursue your interests, but keep your options open when there are setbacks. The other lesson I've learned is none of us does anything by ourselves. All of them, even natural geniuses like some of the great cricket stars you've seen today, have had amazing chance elements. They've met coaches, they've met fellow players who've encouraged them. For scientists, we've had mentors, we've had people we've randomly connected with that have influenced us in our lives. So we never achieve anything by ourselves. We achieve it with the help of a community of people around us. And the third thing I should say is that just as people have helped us along, once we reach a certain stage, it's our job to help young scientists and young people achieve their dreams. And the same goes true for any profession. So thank you very much.
The storyteller who made India capture the world's imagination, a very suitable living legend, Vikram Seth.
I have to keep myself interested, because if I'm not interested, the reader certainly won't be. If I were inspired to write a suitable girl or an unsuitable boy or something like that, I would certainly do it. But I think that one has to go with the muse. I'll say, look, I'm sorry, this wasn't what I was expecting, go away, it's something more satisfactory. The muse will go away and will not come back. Thank you, Honorable President, for making us feel so much at home in your home, and for this bar of delicious Toblerone, which I hope to enjoy when I get back home. As I was coming up here, because I was stumbling all over the stage, Dr. Roy said to me, absent-minded professor. Now, I should say that I realized that there could really be no reason for my being here except by mistake. And I know that everyone else was invited a month ago, and I was invited 2 days ago. So someone dropped out. The other possibility, of course, is that they got 24 mixed up with 25 and suddenly realized it, and Tempest, which is the school name of the illustrious Dr. Prannoy Roy, said, God, one extra person, how will we get him? Oh yeah, Vikram, he was my junior at school, I was the prefect, tell him to come up. So I obviously acquiesced. I asked my mother, must I go up for that? She said, of course. Accept it, and accept it with grace. Now, it's all very well to accept something, but we've been kept in a kind of anteroom for about half an hour. I would have been much happier to be here in the hall with all of you and with my parents. But if you don't realize in what order we've been placed, most of you have got it, it's in alphabetical order of first name. From Amartya down to poor Zubin, who's cooling his heels there. And the most adorable and most classy lady, Wahida Rahman. And I must tell you, I'm glad I'm here and not there, because if my father knew that I was spending yet more time with her, he would be green with jealousy. So my pieces of advice, because I was told I had to give some advice to the young. I can see not very many young here, but still, at any rate, to the young is this. The first piece of advice is, Elaji said, Ela Bhatt, the great Ela Bhatt said, poverty is violence. And poverty is violence with the acquiescence of society. I would say, in a perfectly parallel mode, that intolerance is violence. And accepted intolerance is violence with the acquiescence of society. Now, please, that way I'll more than take up my 2 minutes, and I can hardly blame the people there for being impatient. But basically, there's no point in wrapping yourselves up in the color of the flag when you don't realize that the flag has more than one component. There are different colors in it, they mean different things, and in the heart of it is the wheel. The wheel of Buddhism, you might call it, but it's really the wheel of justice, the wheel of dharma, the wheel of the recycle of births, the wheel of law. And we cannot have intolerance within a family. You can see how disastrous that would be. And we certainly cannot have the spirit of intolerance within our country as a whole. So that's the first thing. The second is, and everyone here has virtually, in different words, said it, you may as well be yourself, because really there's no one else you can be. We're here for such a ridiculously short time, in this ridiculously trivial corner of the universe, that if we aren't ourselves, what's the point of doing anything at all? So I would say in all matters, whether it's your profession, whether it's your beliefs, whether it's the person you love, you must go at heart with who you are. Not what someone else tells you, not what your clan tells you, not even what an unjust law tells you. Go with yourself. And the third thing I would say, and this again has been said in different ways, Fali Nariman said very succinctly, I owe everything to the lady sitting behind, well, in front of me. And I would say he chose, obviously, tremendously well, or perhaps she did. But I would add to this what Hari Prasad Chaurasia ji said, your parents. Your parents are who make you who you are. And in the case of my loving, hardworking, generous-hearted parents, I can only say that I really owe more to them than I can describe. So though it's too late to give you advice for this life, I would advise you for your next life, choose your parents well.
With a scroll inside it. Beauty, grace, and inexhaustible charisma. An indisputable living legend, Wahida Rehman.
एक्ट्रेस नहीं बनूंगी। एकदम सीधी सादी, एकदम शांत रहती थी, पर अंदर से जरा सा छुपा रुस्तम भी थी वो।
14वीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो, जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम लाजवाब।
Honorable President, ladies and gentlemen, I humbly thank Dr. Roy and NDTV for including me on this platform today. I am honored being acknowledged with such great achievers of India. Essentially, we are one. We are all made up of the same clay, regardless of race, religion, skin color, or social status. It is important to have compassion and give back to the world at large. But compassion also comes from acknowledging we are one. We are human beings made of the same fabric. We are citizens of the world. 2, the key to happiness is in counting your blessings, being grateful for even little things that matter, and also in having a positive outlook towards life, no matter what hardship of the season are. 3rd, what matters the most in life is good health and a good night's sleep. But do take risks, don't fear failure. You remain, as long as you maintain your integrity and compromise on your dignity, it will remain strong. It does not matter how much money you have in your bank account or how many awards you have achieved. At the end of the day, what matters is love and peace. Thank you.
For asserting affordable drugs are a basic human right, a patented living legend, Y.K. Hamied.
We are the largest pharmaceutical generic company in the world. Business and the humanitarian work that we do, particularly in the area of healthcare, is very, very important. What is the point of developing new and life-saving drugs if they're not accessible to the common man worldwide?
Honorable Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and privilege to be here, and I'll relate one or two events in life that have shaped me for the future, and I would like to share two experiences with you. The first lesson learned was the value of self-reliance and self-sufficiency. In the year 1939, at the start of World War II, Mahatma Gandhi visited our company and stressed the necessity to produce our own medicines as there was an acute shortage of supplies from the Western world. This advice gave us the opportunity to write our own destiny. And in the second thing that we learned in life, following from this, that the cornerstone of individual and collective success is education. And for this, there is no compromise. If India is to keep pace in the 21st century, maximum emphasis has to be given to education. Education by itself, however, is not enough. And the next lesson is that we must implement our knowledge to contribute to society, specifically in areas where we are proficient and where we have competence. It is therefore imperative for the country and for India to create opportunities where we can put our knowledge to use. Individual success, however, does not make a person great. What really matters is his contribution to society and improving the lives of his fellow men. It is an accepted fact that age correlates with conservatism. Time has a lesser impact on an older population. Future generations will be more time conscious and faster paced. Any delay, therefore, in meeting India's present needs will be acutely felt by our children. We must not linger and must avail of every opportunity today for a better tomorrow, so that we may transform India to the land of our dreams. Finally, congratulations to NDTV on the 25th anniversary. Please go on to score a half century and go on to score a century, Prannoy, wicket of life. Thank you.
The maestro who enchants audiences everywhere. We are spellbound by this living legend, Zubin Mehta.
And Zubin's destiny, he brought it along with him from his mother's womb.
One has to know how to cajole, to dominate, and to inspire at the same time. Some conductors have been told in their 80s that, look, if you carry on, you will not last. So some of them just stop. Some continue and die on the podium. I think the latter will be my case.
Mr. President, I've waited a long time this evening. I have a concert in Tel Aviv tomorrow night, so I won't keep you too long. But everybody was allowed 2 minutes, so we have probably come to the 48th minute now, right? From 25 people. So I won't take too much of your time. But the advice I can give, and one common denominator this evening, was our fathers. We have all spoken about our fathers. I wish our fathers, and in my case it's exactly the same, so I won't repeat what has been said already. All our fathers should be standing behind us today because we owe them a lot, and in my case also my mother. Advice I can give to young musicians is the story of this young 12-year-old violinist with his violin case walking in a New York street. He sees a policeman and he says, "Excuse me, officer, how do I get to Carnegie Hall?" Policeman looks at him and says, "Practice." Without that, hard work has been mentioned enough times. Without hard work, none of us would be here. Without dedication, honesty, perseverance, ambition, we have all that in common. And I respect and I bow my head to all of you. Let's finish this evening positively. The alphabet has come to an end. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Prannoy Roy, Dr. Farooq Abdullah, distinguished ministers, Senior Leader El Kyadbani, distinguished 25 living great Indian legends, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be amidst you this evening and to be associated with recognizing these 25 great Indians. Holy Nariman correctly pointed out that yes, somebody may come out with 25 more names, and surely they are also recognized, they are also eminent in their own rights. While going through their introduction and some of their comments, I found out a once striking commonality in all of them, that each and every one of them believe in hard work, honesty, commitment to the job, ideal to which they furnish. Therefore, what is needed today, what we can draw lessons from the outstanding performance of these 25 great Indians, that we cannot have a shortcut or a bypass to achieve the success, to reach the top, to be the models of others. Being the cradle of the oldest civilization in the world, over more than 5,000 years, we have many eminent personalities, unknown architects and creators of the Indus Valley civilization, great sages of the Vedic age, Gautam Buddha to series of other great social reformers, religious leaders, artists, painters, and quite a large number of them did not want to carve their name in stones or iron. They just wanted to be anonymous. Whether the painters of the Ajanta and Ellora or the great sculptures which they built in Konark, Khajuraho, Bhubaneswar, South Indian temples. But commonality was commitment, hard work, honesty, integrity, sincerity. I do believe, and I am glad that in the morning you had discussed among yourselves that where to find out the solutions to the woes of today. To my mind, as Mukesh has very correctly pointed out, we must have our rightful place in the Committee of the Nations as an advanced economy. But if we want to achieve that, we must at the same time recognize the fact that without advancement of education, research, innovation, we cannot achieve that. More than often I repeated one story of Prince Bismarck immediate after the German unification under the ruler of Prussia in 1870s. When Industrial Revolution began in Germany, the German entrepreneurs, they established a large number of the research laboratories. Once Bismarck visited one such big laboratory, and as Chancellor, he was always conscious of the exchequers pending from the exchequer. And he inquired, what is the capital output ratio? The researcher replied, Mr. Chancellor, out of 100, investment in 99 may be failure, but investment in 1 would give you the dividend which will compensate your losses in 99. Therefore, if we can invest in innovation, in education, and build up the world-class education system in this country, which is not a dream. Today, 2 of the distinguished Nobel laureates are present amidst us. One of them had their post-graduations in Indian University, Dr. Amartya Sen. But we did not have the privilege of claiming that he won the Nobel laureate working in an Indian university. Dr. Venkata Ramakrishnan, even in his undergraduate studies, he did so in India. Hargobind Khurana, Dr. Chandrasekhar, all of them were products of the Indian university. But after C.V. Raman, in late 30s of the last century, no Indian scholar, no Indian researcher working in Indian university obtained the Nobel Prize. Why? There are not lack of talents, lack of talented teachers, students, but what we are failing? To coordinate them, to give them the priority, to create the conducive atmosphere which can produce Amartya Sen, Venkat Ramakrishnan, Hargobind Khurana, Chandrasekhar, and many others. I would not like to expand my observations because I am doing so as visitor of more than 100 central institutions, central universities, IITs, and NITs. In fact, I am traveling the length and breadth of the country only to highlight on this point that we can achieve if we simply want and if we have the determination, courage and conviction. If this country could lead higher education for almost 1800 years, from the 6th century BC to 12th century AD, from the days of Takshashila or Taxila in 6th century BC, which had the confluence of 4 civilizations, to the collapse of Nalanda in 12th century AD. Why can't we do it today? We have committed teachers, talented students. Let us create collectively together to achieve that objective. But we shall have to always keep in mind there is no shortcut to commitment, determination, courage, conviction, honesty, sincerity, and discipline. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.
Please just take your seats. We're going to take a quick photograph right now with all of you. do allow...
What a moment there. 25 greatest global living legends of India.
And later, at the Taj Palace, please
Just
come back and
honoured
be with
at
us for
Rashtrapati
dinner
Bhavan.
and dancing and a lot more besides.
Well, a very, very special moment there. As we said, 25 greatest global living legends of India coming together on a single platform and being honoured by President of India, President Pranab Mukherjee at Rashtrapati Bhavan on the occasion of NDTV's 25th anniversary. As we've been saying, a very, very proud and emotional moment for us, a very big day for all of us at NDTV as we celebrate 25 years of NDTV. And to mark the occasion, we had that very, very special award ceremony being held at Rashtrapati Bhavan. In fact, it's just concluded and you saw there 25 greatest global living legends of India honoured by President Pranab Mukherjee. Well, we'll bring you the highlights of that event in just a bit, but at this point in time, we need to slip into a short break. Stay with us.